Hey guys, how's it going? This is James Tripp. This is a video for James Tripp Chaos Wave. I am sat in my room amidst chaos because my bookshelves have been taken down. There are books strewn everywhere. This room is in a state of physical transition, and that's kind of apt that I'm sat here in this place doing this first video of 2020 for Chaos Wave. It's quite late in January. I started the year with a really thick, heavy cold. I had some craziness coming up to Christmas, which I'll talk about maybe a little bit in a moment. But I want to say something about 2020 and what 2020 is going to be about for myself and for Chaos Wave. Now, if you're watching this video, you have an interest in creating in the world, in dancing with the chaos, in bringing about outcomes in the real world. Now, whether you're interested in NLP or hypnosis or other mind tech and life tech, your interest is going to be the same. Nobody gets into hypnosis because they don't want to affect change somehow, often with other people and this kind of thing, but they want to affect change. And here we are at the beginning of the year, and of course the beginning of the year is traditionally that time where people talk about change. They make New Year's resolutions, they do this kind of thing. Now I want to say right here that I don't have a New Year's resolution for 2020, and I don't ever make them. I don't know when the last time I made a New Year's resolution was. I think they're pretty pointless largely, and one of the reasons I think they're pointless is because life is complex, right? It unfolds in unpredictable ways. As Steve Jobs put it, you cannot connect the dots looking forward, only looking backward. This is the principle of non-linearity. We're going to get into this a little bit more in a moment. Now, if you cannot predict the dots, if you cannot connect the dots looking forward, only looking backward, then why would you put a New Year's resolution in place? You see, if you do that, you're trying to deny the dynamism of the coming year, in my view. So I don't do a New Year's resolution. But at the same time, I'm not gonna just go with the flow 100%. I do want to shape my life. I do want to shape the world around me. This means finding a sweet spot, finding a balance between intention and allowing. Sweet spot between intention and allowing. This comes out in a lot of places, by the way. If you're watching this because you're into hypnosis, if you want to bring about a hypnotic experience for somebody, what you're ultimately going to create with them sits in this sweet spot between your intention and what you allow to come through from the bigger system that you are only a part of. And the more grabby and the more needy you get about bringing about a particular thing, often the more things fall apart because you're trying to connect the dots looking forward and are not allowing that emergent quality of the bigger system to be at play, which you discover after the fact when you connect the dots looking back. So I'm here at the beginning of the year, I'm here in January, I'm here in this physical space that is undergoing a chaotic transformation at the moment, and I want to say something about my theme for the year. Now, a theme is different from a New Year's resolution. A theme is broader, it has space within it, it has maneuverability within it, but it tilts things in a generative direction. And for myself, I've chosen my theme for this year to be the year of true non-linearity. I want 2020 to be the year of true non-linearity. This means really embracing the idea that you cannot connect the dots looking forward, only looking backwards, and letting go and trusting the universe, the great unfolding, if you like, trusting my generative engagement with it to produce results without jumping in and trying to micromanage it from a fearful and needy place. Now, I'm going to make another video somewhere else, I think, if people are interested. It depends. I'm not going to make a prediction. I'm going to let this unfold as it may. Last 2 months of 2019, I had insomnia, and it just kind of came from out of the blue, just this really debilitating insomnia, but it turned out to be a very generative insomnia. I'm going to talk about that in a different video because there's some interesting features around that I would like to share for people who are specifically interested in hypnosis and change work. But certain things came out of this, and what was revealed to me is that whilst up here in my head, I have been in love with non-linearity and non-linear creation dynamics for a long time. I'm a human being, and as such, I'm a poor witness to my own processes. Now, I believe I'm a better witness to my own processes than the average human being because I've put a lot of time and work into learning to be a witness to myself and my processes. But you're never going to get 100% vision on that because we human beings are rich, complex systems. We cannot see with a linear bolt of consciousness, a linear beam of consciousness, all that is occurring within the deep, complex dynamic of our own minds. So there was something that I was missing. And that is, whilst I was in love in my head with non-linearity and non-linear creation dynamics, in my heart, I've actually been progressively holding on more and more tightly across the years as I have created more and have built within myself an unconscious fear of loss. Okay, I've only identified this over the last few months. I've become more control freaky in my heart than I was recognizing with my head. So I want to learn to let go of that. That's my developmental edge for 2020. I want to learn to let the chips fall where they may, instead of trying to micromanage where the chips fall. So I want to say what that means for this channel. I'm going to do less editing on this channel. You may have noticed that across 2019, I started to get more into editing, a little bit more into the presentation, got more cuts happening in the videos, this sort of thing. I was doing more takes of videos. I was thinking ahead of time more about what the videos were about. There are upsides to doing these things, but there are downsides as well. The downside is that by micromanaging it, it kind of drains it out, it drains the enthusiasm out of it. For me, in person, I actually create less. Okay, maybe people like what I create more, maybe they don't. The truth of the matter is if I had something called a personal genius, and I happen to believe that every single human being has their own personal unique genius, my genius is not video editing. I might be reasonably competent at doing it, but that's not my genius. That's not really where the uniqueness of my particular collection of neurons in the world sits. So, why would I spend a lot of time video editing? My video creation time, by the way, went up around in 2018. I was taking about half an hour to an hour to make and upload a video, and it was turning into a day's work to do that. I'm not a YouTuber first and foremost, so I don't have that kind of bandwidth to put in. Why was I doing it? I was doing it because I started to fall for the idea that things needed to be a particular way. They must be a particular way, that I had to up my game. And I was trying to up my game linearly by trying to connect the dots looking forward and saying what should be in place in order for things to happen, instead of just relaxing into the creative flow more. So for me, this is what 2020 is about. You will see this reflected. This is my intention in the channel. What I want to happen differently here on the channel is I want to start encouraging questions more. I want the videos I create to be more generated by the questions people ask. So people might ask a lot of questions about hypnosis. That's fine. I will answer those. I will go in that direction. People might want to know more about non-linear creation dynamics. I'm very happy to go in that direction as well. I did a fair few videos on magic last year. And by magic, I'm not talking about some kind of airy-fairy stuff. I'm talking simply about influencing within complex systems. How do we influence within complex systems when we do not have control? That's a really major question, by the way, in life. How do you most optimally influence when you do not have control? Because nobody has control in complex systems. Since when was the last time a day went exactly as you planned it at the beginning of the day? It didn't, because you don't control the day, you don't control the unfolding. So if you've got questions about this kind of stuff, ask these questions as well. I want to start making the channel much more interactive again, much more dynamic again in that sense. So at the end of 2020, when we all look back on what happened on Chaos Wave, it will be a co-creation that none of us necessarily predicted going forward. In terms of the videos, there's going to be a lot less editing, a lot less cutting. That's going to be a hard thing for me to let go of, but I need to let go. I want to let go. I desire to let go. I want to let something else come through. I do not want my bandwidth being taken up by editing video. when that isn't really where my genius lies, my uniqueness lies, so to speak. Okay, so if you like this video, please do like the video. If you don't like the video, leave a comment below. Say what you don't like about it. Say why you think, nah, that's not the way to go, whatever it might be. And if you want to subscribe to the channel and haven't already, obviously subscribe, and especially hit that notifications bell, which is a clearly important thing. And let's make this a conversation. Let's make this interactive. So use that comment section. Once again, please do. Ask the questions you want to ask. And until we next connect, keep on creating your life.